Yeah, maybe to start at the beginning, just to explain why I think what we are doing makes sense and how this brings the individuals in. I think that would be valuable for you, just to explain you in a bit, okay?
Totally.
So like one of the key components here is that there's the Ocean Protocol data tokens. So that's like a tool which enables you to represent a data set or an algorithm, so like a data asset, through a data token. So that means like somebody this helps you to solve several things. One of the things is like the reputation issue. So like what's good data, what's bad data, and this is done via a liquidity pool. So like people can say, okay, I think this data is valuable, so they can put money into that, and this can then reflect the price. On the other side, it's that exactly this price finding mechanism. So like traditional data markets have always been struggling with like determining the price, of the data. And that's like a huge problem, like because the data value is very subjective, it's not an objective criteria. So like that's been like the discussion for several years. So like now already also in the Ocean Protocol team and stuff, I have been talking to them, and it's like really, like it might be there's a startup and they need exactly this data, and if they have the data, they can make their product and it will be awesome. But then the next day there comes another company and say, I have this already, but it would be nice to see how well I do on this data. Well, okay, for both the price will be drastically different, like, and the company who created it, I mean, they paid already some price, but they don't know, like, if I sell it the 5th time or the 10th time, should it then be cheaper? I mean, how is this going to happen? Like data can be sold a ton of time. It's not like a traditional product, it's very, very different. So like these liquidity pools give also the opportunity that the price can dynamically adjust to the market situation, In the beginning, there might be a lot of people interested in it, so the price will go up. And then first, the people who are just interested in partially, they will not buy. But then over time, like the sales will tamper down. The people will go out because the profit will not be there, because there's always, if something is bought, the liquidity provider get a share of that. And then the price will tamper down. But then like the other people will come and they will buy again, and maybe it might become interesting again, and maybe not. And so like that's like one of the mechanisms that I think is key to all of this, like, and also people with the data token, they can become kind of co-owners of the data set. So this mechanism is what we're using. So like we're using this and we're saying, okay, our data set is going to be different. We are going to connect this to a data union. And one more premise that we're making is like we only create machine learning data. So like that's what we're doing, only for machine learning. And okay. the thing that we're, because like data for us is always connected to some algorithms, and algorithms are always connected with machine learning for us, with AI. And yeah, so like, should I go on a little bit longer? Is maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and yeah. I think okay, I've covered it. Okay.
And then we have a lot of unpack already, but go on, please go on. I don't.
Yeah, so then the idea is like, okay, so there's whoever is the data source. So like in the really broadest case, you have like you source from the whole world. Like everybody can be a data source. That's like our image data set. I chose this specifically for this reason to showcase all of these principles. So like everybody can upload images. No, like we can make bounties for something specific. We have some bounties. People can then choose to commit to that. They can also just freely add. And then the thing is like they will get some data token for this as a reward. Like so they are immediately like, we have the data tokens. I mean, it's a fixed pool, so we also buy from there. We cannot just make more of that. It's not possible for us. So we buy from there. We give it back. If somebody else wants to make a bounty, they can buy. They can put then the tokens onto this bounty, and the people who commit to this and participate, they will get the token. But then the annotation part, so what's in the image, and it will also be rewarded. And then the next part is like the verification. So like somebody can claim this is this and this, but who knows? Like, I mean, and all of this is happening crowdsourced over our website. And basically this like gives us the data creation part, and then you can also do it like the algorithms. You can also say, okay, now data scientists, they can also be incentivized to create the algorithms, on top of this. So like a lot of companies around the world don't have AI knowledge, but they need something. So in general, they could now go the whole everything could be created for them, if they just invest the money. And what are they going to do? They invest the money in form of the data token. So what is this going to create? Because all of this is staying in the data set, the value of the data set is going to go up. and this means the data token is going to go up. So you have an economy created around this data token and around this whole creation process, and like the people who participate, they're always going to benefit from it, So and this is something unique. I mean, I've never seen anybody else doing that, and that's like our core principle around this data union. And now, as we do the service, basically other people can also use the same technique.
Nice. Thanks. I think there's a lot to unpack here already, but you answered already some of the questions that I had, which were like about pricing. How does the pricing work? Maybe you can elaborate a bit more on the economics of the data token, like the QuickRA token, right? So you said there's a fixed pool of QuickRA tokens, right? And there is basically, and that means that if anyone creates data or uploads data to your data sets or annotates data, any value-adding activity, he will get a tiny share of these QuickRA tokens.
Yeah.
And does this also imply some kind of value appreciation? So if you're early in, you have an incentive to start, right? Even though the data set is not that valuable yet. Do you know what I mean?
The early people are the risk takers, they're committing their time and their resources, but they're not completely sure whether this will really be a success or not. If the image already has like 10 million elements and like it's sold like crazy and lots of algorithms are created on top of it, well, okay, then it's much more easy to add something because, okay, I will be okay. But then like probably you will get even much less than in the beginning. So like you're incentivizing the risk takers, to do it. And yeah, so like, yeah. Okay. And one thing is like, okay, what about the blockchain stuff? So like, why are we using blockchain for this? I mean, I can onboard everybody on the world. Everybody, like our mobile app is coming out this month. So like, you take the mobile app, you have a wallet inside, Ethereum wallet. It connects to us. We only register your wallet. You can be anybody. You can be in Venezuela. You can be in Nigeria. You can be in Los Angeles. You can be in Denmark. Whoever you are, the cost of coming on is like having a smartphone and downloading the app. And that's like, and then you're in, and then you can start earning, my prime target group and where I'm talking to the people is in Nigeria and in Venezuela. Venezuela, $4 a month is the monthly income if you get paid in the Bolivar, in the country's currency. I think we can do better. I mean, that's, and I don't even want to know who they are. Because if I know it's somebody from Venezuela, then the US government will come, hey, your company is dealing with these people. I don't know anything. They are there. Everything is attributed to them. They get sent these tokens. They can then exchange it for other tokens. They can do whatever they want with it. It's not outside of our system. It's not our responsibility anymore. And what we're also offering is royalties. So like if in 10 years somebody still buys some data from you, you get something. If we make an algorithm as a community out of your data, you get shares from this algorithm. If the algorithm gets sold again, you get shares to your wallet back. We don't know who you are, but we can track everything, what you did and where you're participating and everything. So like we can give you maybe a universal data income. So you can can retire because you were participating in the beginning.
I got another question for like what kind of data you guys are dealing with. So you said it's machine learning data, right? So image data. Can that include personal data, or is it because there's a lot of like personal data discussions around this as well, right? To what extent does it include personal data?
And if you use our alpha, so maybe you should try it out before you do the report. So there's like an alpha. It's like alpha.dataunion.app, and there you can do the things. And there's also especially in the uploading part, there's like 4 boxes about personal information. We also very much tell the people with the links and with the report that personal information is very important for us, because we are we were like located in Germany for some time because I live in Germany, but now I founded a company in Singapore, so we're kind of out of this fortunately. I mean, with the upload filters in Germany I would be screwed anyways if I would still be a German company. But the thing is, like, this is very important for us, and what we are doing is the first thing that we are basically working on right now. The first algorithm is a anonymization algorithm. So like to filter out personal information, and because we're using Ocean Protocol's computed data capabilities, that means like the algorithms travel to the data. So the data is in our server, and if somebody wants to train something, we have to also acknowledge that this algorithm can run there, and then we will, and especially for these things that are verified from the community that they are personal. Like the community looks at the images, and if there's some personal information, then they will tag it, So like the community kind of also verifies all of this and captures this. And there we will probably not I don't want to sell all the personal information to some random strangers on the internet, but I want to make sure that like if we filter, if we have the algorithm, we can always filter. Like if there's a face in the image in our data portal, when you can look at the data, it will not be visible. And I mean, like algorithms, and then the only person after the enhancement process, the only person that will see it is like the algorithm itself. The data will never really come out, and like I think our anonymization algorithm will also be very powerful because we cater to everyone around the world. So we will have a ton of data from every different demographic and ethnicity and gender and age and whatever. So like I think it will be very good. Yeah, and that's like we are very much aware of that, and that's like one of the major things that we are also really taking care of, because it's for us. I mean, you don't have to care about it, but we want to. That's
okay. So it's some kind of a double tap anonymization with the compute to data and also your own algorithms that anonymize. Okay. I want to talk a little bit more specifically about like how the flow of crypto works, or how the value transfer works with people that upload to the DataUnion. So how can they exchange their token basically for, in the end, something else, ocean tokens or maybe stable coins or anything else?
So at the moment we are not paying out. So you have to see we are very much in the early stage. The problem is like the people make so little, so paying out on Ethereum is just impossible.
It's expensive.
So our idea, we want to move to Polygon, but for liquidity pools, there's no real way of moving the liquidity pool. So that's also something that we are working on actively. But like the idea is to go to Polygon, and Polygon one transaction is 1/1000 of a cent. So then it's not a big deal. And then the idea is like just to have like a payment or like payments is the wrong word, rewards framework, because payments would mean if somebody works for us, they're rewarded for their contributions. We have to always be very careful about the wording, because like we are not, I mean, like then we come into the whole Uber discussion, like, like are these then all our employees, and do we have to pay this and this for them? No, I mean, like, we don't even know their names. So it's very difficult for us to know that they're really our employees. In the end, like this framework then allows them just to capture this. They press a button, they can take what they have get as reward, and then they can use the liquidity pool. As I said before, there's the data token, and over this liquidity pool you can go to the utility token. At the moment it's Ocean. Ocean protocol also allows you to switch the Ocean token out to another utility token. So you could just do it with like XDAI or like USDT or USDC, and then we would be directly going into a stablecoin. Yes.
Okay, fair enough, understood. Another question that I have is, so you have a lot of things on your roadmap, right? The roadmap is very exciting, and there are especially two things that interest me. The first one is increasing decentralization by moving to smart contracts. Mm-hmm. Can you elaborate a little bit on what you're planning to do there?
So you have to see right now all our metadata capture and stuff like this. All the data is all in our servers, and like this of course requires everybody to trust us very much, and the data unions itself. Like we could just run away with your data, and like right now there's no payout. I mean, why are the people even doing that? Are they crazy? Like that's like so. Like if you the first step in the decentralization is like that there's the smart contract, you can pay out the stuff, and then if we would lock this, like the reward stuff, we lock it into the contract, then you can also see that, and without the ability to take it out, like there could be then some voting mechanism to make sure that if something fails, you can take out the tokens again, that they're not stranded there forever or something like this. But the next step would be then like metadata. Okay, maybe we should start putting this onto Filecoin or something like this, like put also the data into a more decentralized situation, and then like basically then we are also not in control anymore of what is happening, like then it's also not our data, we're not keeping that anymore, then the algorithms will have to run through the system and so on. Like this all requires a lot of testing, a lot of sincerity, and to be sure that you didn't put any bugs in the stuff and that everything works perfectly. So that's why we start with a lot of centralized things, and there's also some data unions we have been talking to that want to come on board, which are not comfortable, like putting it on some decentralized server. And this decentralized file storage systems are also not what they
bulletproof.
they try not what they try. They're not what they try to make you believe they are. Like I mean, I've been talking now to a lot of projects that actually work with them, and then, like would not put the personal information there. Otherwise, maybe the GDP, like the European government, like you would be then sued or something like this. So I would be rather careful. And I mean, from my point of view, it's not the most pressing issue, but it's something that's very important to put on the roadmap. And of course, I mean, I'm exaggerating a bit, like when things will be happening there. I'm adjusting this just as we go. So it's not something that is ironed out, that is set in stone. Maybe I should just also remove the dates there to not give the wrong impression. That just like say we are planning to do this, like our vision, maybe to put it more into a vision roadmap. Like what the vision is for the future. Maybe that would be more accurate. Because like. Right now, I mean, if you then want to have GPUs that work on data in the cloud, I mean, think about it. I mean, it's kind of all possible, but it also it costs you always then for the access and for the storage, and everything costs money. And who's going to pay all of this? If I have the server, if I have the control, I know how much I pay. It's no problem. And otherwise, okay, what happens? I mean, I don't know. And then it's it makes things much more complicated. So I want to rather make sure that in a more simplistic way it works perfectly, and then to take the next step and go in this direction. Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. One more question that I have is about like the sustainability of the whole thing from a business standpoint, right? Like if there's a, if someone says, okay, I want a license or I want to buy this data set. Mm-hmm. Does the DataUnion, I mean, you guys need some money to develop the whole thing, to maintain your servers. Do you take a cut from this, or how does it work?
You cannot buy the data set. You have to understand this. You cannot download the data set. It will never be able to download. You can only train something on top of it.
Okay.
And for that, what you're saying, this issue, like, I mean, I see the issue too. I don't have a perfect answer for you. So what we're doing in this direction is like we're working with a simulation framework called Token Spice that can simulate this kind of data pools, and there we are in the process of getting there to simulate the whole thing, to say, okay, now how many buyers would we need, how many people are contributing, how much will they get, to be able to put all of these variables into a simulation, and then to come down to a situation how things would be working properly, to also simulate for long-term selling and like price changes and so on. At the moment, we just bought some of our own tokens. We set like somehow a rule. We were estimating the first 3 months we will have 1 million images. Right now we have 6,400. So you can see we were promising so much money. Like I will now have to announce on Monday, well, we are not going to give away the 50,000 only to the 240 people. They will probably be disappointed. We will still give them much more than they would have to expect. But we will keep the rest of the money and then start a next phase where we will put the remainder as a reward. So these are we call these challenges, and they're like basically fixed price, and we just do this to incentivize the people to to gather some more information about how much do they do, and then later we also want to do some service. Was this enough for you? Do you need more money and this kind of stuff? So like to basically come into the know of what is really appropriate, because we have not done this yet. We don't know anybody to talk to. That's why we also do the simulation, to do the dry runs and to do things not just in an intuitive way, but in an informed way. So yeah, it's a lot of moving pieces, a lot of things to do. Yeah.
So like that's for growth, right? So for growth, you're trying to like set some incentives for the people that are not really market related. It's not because anyone is using the data.
Yeah.
But you're trying to onboard some people on the platform. Okay, understood. What do you think about like what's the main issue? Why aren't people joining this thing? Is it because they don't really understand it, or is it?
Even my friends say they don't want to join this because they can't cash out. So this after we have now two very important milestones this month. Our data portal, so people can start exploring the data, and then the mobile app. After that, the main focus, the next focus is going to be like governance, that people can vote on stuff, but also the payment network. It's like the payment, this is like the major thing. So like if you could cash out right away, and you could then see, if you could, and then we're also working now with Binance peer-to-peer. So we're trying to connect like to this off-ramp platforms. So like my goal was always like to, in the next few months, to be able to go to have like somebody in Venezuela start stand up in the morning, open the app, do something for 2 hours, press the cash out button into their Binance peer-to-peer, because that's what they are using there. Then go to the grocery store and buy something to eat. You know, if we get to this point, I think we are fine from the supplier side. You know, like from these people that will work for us, because, you know, like if you can't even cash out, why should you invest any time? I mean, that's just bogus. You know, like of course, and for us it's very complicated. You know, if you have the crypto, then what do you do with the crypto? You know, like okay, then it will be people who have enough money anyways. But we actually want to make this a source of income for people to participate in this. You know, and yeah, then. Yeah, so that's all still work in progress. You know, like it's a incredibly long process for sure. But yeah, I mean, it's a complicated problem that we're tackling. So we have basically no budget. So yeah, maybe at some point we can also pick up some VCs and their interest. So like we're also in the process of doing that. So, yeah.
Cool. You just mentioned collective governance, or you said like, you know, you're trying to have people vote on some stuff. What does it entail? How would that work in a way?
So the idea here, I mean, our idea, we dream, we have again big visions. So like always here, you can see our visions are big. The idea is like people who contribute in certain categories, like uploading, annotating, verifying, they basically, with their contributions, they also earn some voting rights, you know. And these voting rights can be like for this process overall, like of this uploading app, or like this kind of part of the whole system. Or it could also be individually, like the uploaders could then say, hey, now we think this and this feature would be really cool, and we all then, like, there's a list of the features, and then they vote for the one that the development team should develop next. You know, like, so like it then would be community driven, you know, like app development. So like something like this would easily be possible, because we know everybody who did what, you know, like we have that, we connected to their wallet. There's like Easy Snapshot is like a great platform. You can do this even without paying anything. We could easily integrate this. I have been already talking to the boss of Snapshot whether this would be possible. He said there's no issue. We can do this easily. It's no big deal. And the next thing is like then, okay, we have this component. The data scientists could do the same. You know, like for their contributions, for the liquidity people, we can do the same. Like all of this, you know, like these parts, they can all start voting about stuff. In the end, there might be overall system voting processes for like the overall thing. And like you have to think this is like one DataUnion now about the images. There will be like thousands probably in a few years who will all have the same rights and things. And this is something that we really want to focus on and get right, because we want to do this like a union, you know, like it should be direct democracy. You know, if you look at political systems out nowadays, they're not necessarily still down deciding what the people want. They're deciding what like the companies and the people with a lot of money want. So we want to really try to make our system in a way that it will not go into this direction.
Got it.
I have some more time if you have some more questions. I don't know if you ever.
I was just gonna ask that if you don't have a hard stop, I will just take a few more minutes of your time.
I have an appointment 6 o'clock and I have to drive a little bit, but I can give you some more minutes. It's no problem.
Okay, nice, cool. You just mentioned like the supply side, right? So you're focusing, or wait, let me first go back to the governance part. You would kind of achieve that with a governance token, right? Or how are you planning to do this?
So I mean, you could also do it without the governance token. That would be easily possible. But the problem is like there's always this thing about like starting something. You know, like if we have a new DataUnion with an absolutely great idea, how are they going to start with something? You know, like that's incredibly hard. You know, like if you don't have anything to convince somebody to give you money, it's always very difficult. So that's why we want to have this governance token and the pool of money, and then be able like, okay, so then everybody can decide together, like, do we think this is a good idea? And they say, yeah, this is the great idea, so we should invest in that. And then basically the whole DataUnion invests in that. And for this investment, the whole DataUnion gets a share of the data token, for example, you know. And then like suddenly the community itself, the DAO, becomes shareholder in the new DataUnion, and then the DataUnion starts cracking, you know, like they can also profit from everybody else and all the experiences from all our software. So like we have one person can make a DataUnion, you know, like they can have the domain knowledge, they can start connecting with the community, they can do all of these things, but they don't have to develop software from scratch, you know.
So like such a token would would be for governance, but it's also for financing in a way, for funding, for getting off the ground in the beginning.
Okay. Yeah. This, I mean, you always have to, get money from somewhere. Like this is a two-sided market, and everybody that creates a data union will create a two-sided market. And from my point of view, it's always good if you can pre-finance the supply side. Of course, it would also be great. I mean, you could also try to do it like if somebody says, I have a real big demand, so I'm willing to pay forward, like that you created. But I think this might be at some point happening. But so that this happens, there should be some great examples of things that this was successful, If we can show, like in this 20 cases, in these industries, we have managed to deploy successful data unions. Okay, now you have a big demand, so you have to pay in advance that we do this. Yeah, okay, then yes. I mean, probably, yeah. Or like some. We are talking also to very large companies, and these very large companies, they say, yeah, we have this problem, and you convince us, and they do see this as an experiment. Like for them, 50,000 euros or something as a starting is just like, well, okay. I mean, this sounds so innovative. We will just do it, like so. These all things are all possible, But it's always a process, and to bring really broad adoption and to bring really many people on board that want to try something and spend their time financing them with like governance and the utility token, that would be great. And this utility token can also then be used for other things. Like you could do like liquidity mining, like. The liquidity pools of the individual data tokens are cool. The people who have this liquidity, who are the LPs, who have the pool tokens, they then stake them somewhere else, and then they get governance tokens for that because they are convinced believers in the system and so on. So like these are, you have to, the governance token will be there to be handed over to the people where we think we want to hear their voice. We want to have their decisions and what they are saying. We want to listen to that. So buyers will get it. The workers will get it, the data, everybody will get it, but like for contributing, for doing something, not just like that, So that's the idea, to make a really broad voice of the people, which is then also based on everybody that is involved.
Got it. You just mentioned like, okay, everyone who creates a data union creates a two-sided market. To what extent, like, do you rely on marketplaces like Ocean, for example, or there's a few other ones? Do you see data union as separate, completely separate?
Our data portal is like the next generation of Ocean marketplace. So like in our data portal, you have direct access to the data. You can look into the data. So for the images, you have to think about it like an image gallery. You can search for stuff. You can then select the stuff that you want. You can add it to your data set. In the end, you go to the checkout counter, which is basically another gallery of algorithms where you can select which one you want to run on that, what you want to train, how fast it should be, which parameter sets, which optimizes, and so on. And then it will run via computer data, and you get in the end like you pay. And then either via crypto or via fiat or whatever, like in the end you get your algorithm back. And like this, all of this is not possible in the Ocean Marketplace. In Ocean Marketplace, you see some textual information. You can't look in. You can't select anything. You're always paying for everything. This is all really nice and stuff like this as a starting point. But we are seeing ourselves as I don't see that this is the end. Like we want to take a step to the next level, and that's something we are going to publish this month. I mean, the buying of data and the training will not be possible right away. We're working on this still. But like the idea will be there to see, okay, this is the traditional marketplace, and that's like, from my point of view, the next generation of marketplaces. Because anybody, I mean, I'm a machine learning scientist by trade. I'm a computer scientist. So I've been working in machine learning for 10 years. I would not buy some crazy data set where somebody writes some text, which I can't see. I want to look into it and see a little bit, and why should I pay for everything if I only want to have a subset? This is not possible.
So these are like kind of market frictions, like right? Like how do you assure the quality of the data? How do you without revealing the data in a way? So what are like the steps that you're taking in order to remedy this? So you're building a marketplace, right? And
so we have basically this is a new marketplace. So like and then like what we then in the future want to do is like there's different data unions, and then you can also work on across of these. You know, like there can be then a specialized image union for that, or you want to have some audio too, and or like something like this. There can be data unions for many things. So then you have you have basically a portal of portals. So you can then also use data from different things. And what you will do on the other side for the quality assurance is like we will use state-of-the-art algorithms, and then like use the technique of like you have like a baseline for a data set, and then we enhance this data set with our data, and then we show how much better we get on the same labels and the same classifications, and then we can see, okay, we can tell, okay, here's the quality you get. This is what you get out of using our data, you know, and that's like then for SOTA, for state of the art. And yeah, so like this is something that works also in a decentralized way. You know, you can show the quality by giving really hard facts about it. You know, of course we could cheat, but somebody else can just run. We will publish what we ran. The algorithm will be there. We just offer the opportunity to see it without you paying again. But you can just pay for yourself and run it, and you will get the same results. And then you can, you know, like that's. So like it's also all very transparent, you know, and like this transparency is like from my point of view, the thing that really makes a difference. The difference between any kind of traditional marketplaces, you know, because they are not like this. If I go to the Amazon marketplace or like these kind of marketplaces, they're like, okay, I want to buy this AI algorithm. Okay, yeah, here you call the number or you write to this person and then you can talk about it.
Yeah, okay.
I put in the coin and it runs, you know, like, okay, so easy, you know. You can then upload images in a private section. That's what we also want to do. You upload your own images to the server. You then say, I want to run these algorithms on it. You will see the results right away. You know, and the data, you don't have to add it, you know, to there, but you can then try it out, you know, if you don't believe us and stuff like this. So like these are features we can do this because, of course, we cannot let you download the algorithm. But if you're willing to upload it to the server, you know, like if you're willing to expose it, we can run the algorithm there. I mean, you cannot steal anything from that. You can then look at it, and if you're satisfied, okay, no problem. You know, like freebie testing, stuff like this. All decentralized and like, yeah, no problem.
Okay. I think I've covered all of the stuff that I wanted to ask you, to be honest. It was a lot to unpack there. I will transcribe the whole thing, and if you like, I can like send you the transcript. You can look over it.
No, but you should send me your finished thing, what you're working on. That would be much more interesting.
I will do that. Yeah, I will do that. Great. I got your Discord, so I'll just get back to you there. And probably you'll be like a few steps ahead then. It's going to be in a month or so, maybe.
Let's see what happens in a month, yeah.
A few years in crypto. And,
1 year. It's always 1 year. No, that's just the saying, but if you live in crypto Twitter, then you can see what changes in 1 month is incredible.
I do, and I've been following like this area for maybe 2 months now, and already within these 2 months is pretty crazy what has changed and happened, and the messaging of so many stuff has changed completely, turned 180 degrees around. So it's pretty sick, yeah.
Yeah, if anybody is talking about going towards a singularity, you know, a technical singularity, where at some point the amount of innovativeness and like ideas and development and this kind of stuff becomes exponential, you know, then for me this is the first time in my life that I have the feeling I'm in such a place where it really feels like this, you know. So like and these are all people who they never seen each other. I never met anybody who works in my team, nobody, and we work every day together, you know, like since 1 year, close to 1 year now. I never met anybody of them. And like, okay, we're all working in the same direction. So like, it's insane. I mean, like, and then now I'm talking to the people from this project, that project, here, project, that, and we're working here, we collaboration there, this, everybody's working together. Everybody understands they're not like IBM or like Google, who, if they want something, they make a new department. No. Your department are these people and that people and these people and there. And then the money goes from here and there, and then somebody raises, and then, you know, like all of this just happens all in parallel, and like
there's no more boundaries, huh?
No, there's no boundaries, there's no friction. The barrier of entry is basically removed. I mean, with our app, it will be like, you want to do it, you don't have to do anything, you know, like there's Axie Infinity who's like really taking off the game. Maybe you know about that. Yeah. And for that to participate, you have to pay like 400, 600 euros because you have to buy the initial set of your team. So like, and they do sponsorships because they want to bring people on board and show that they're really nice. But $600, I mean, like I know the people from these countries where they have nothing. This is like 3 months salary. Nobody of them has this in their bank account. Everybody is blank, nothing, zero. So if I'm just thinking, if we can get there and have the barrier of entry of zero, I cannot imagine how great this will be. But yeah, let's see.
This is kind of like part of the topic where I wanted to go with this whole research in ways, the DAO, right? Like how can these data unions in a way just operate autonomously, right? For me, this is like kind of the future vision or the music that I see in the space.
But you have to be very careful. I mean, some people, they went DAO first. They are now struggling with like deciding anything. Yeah. Like I've been following the space for like 4 years now or something like this. And for me, it's like, I will not do DAO first. I will do centralized first and then go in the direction of DAO. Many people say this is impossible. You will still stay centralized. I'm still not convinced. But maybe at some point, you know, like you make some research, maybe you fail, somebody else picks it up, and then at some point somebody does it DAO first or something. I don't know. But we are really aiming for this. I want to retire one day. I don't want to be the boss of this forever. You know, like I'm just doing this now because I have a vision and I think I can help the people to get there. But in the end, like I don't want to be the deciding thing. I mean, like if I can't be replaced, I'm building the wrong system. You know, at the moment I can't. But the goal is always to get to the point where it doesn't matter if I'm there or not. You know. Of course, I can bring in ideas, but as long as it's not 100% necessary, that's where I want to go. You know, that's the big.
And for that, you need a strong community, right?
Yeah.
Strong, engaged community.
Yeah, and I think like this will be something that will be growing. Like I hope we can convince a lot of people and make a lot of people enthusiastic about it as soon as we have the story of the guy in Venezuela working with the app without having to do anything, and then going to buy dinner for him and his family. You know, like this is. I hope that this will be the story that that will convince people and will bring a lot of honest-minded and hearty people to us. You know, like from a lot of different NGOs and other communities. And I hope that with the help of them we can make an honest system. You know, like not corrupt from the get-go or something like this. Yeah. But let's see.
Nice. By design, trustless, right? By design, that's the thing. The goal, yes. Without relying on trust. Nice. Very cool. I think that's a good closing remark for the call. Thanks so much for taking a bit of overtime for me.
No problem. You're very welcome.